excavator, then we've got the solar tower that we've got instead of tech.
Yeah.
And then we've got a steam turbine and an alternator.
Goat heads everywhere.
And
what do
I'm
they
not sure
do?
what this is about though.
So the water tower the solar tower needs water.
Oh, you're using a fluid pump. Okay.
Yeah, and
you've got infinite water supply under there.
sucks out those.
So you used the core drills to find what was in here, and this one says coal, diamonds, and emeralds.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
guessing.
I think it would look cooler if you couldn't see this water in the glass.
Well, okay, Duncan.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just say it. I think if you use like.
So look, there goes diamond ore being mined here. Wow.
A diamond ore. So we're good for diamonds, we're good for coal, we're good for emeralds, and this is just the start. Like as
So
soon
this
as I find
excavator
veins-
set up on. So you did a core sample drill, and if you set it up in here, it just constantly mines coal, diamonds, and emeralds. Does it run out?
It
Yeah.
will do, but it will take a long time, and by the time it does, we'll have infinite coal.
Is this the sample here? No. Is it this one? Coal vein. There we go.
Wow, this is super cool shit. I'm really impressed.
It's got. Oh, you can see the diamonds and emeralds in the coal vein as well. That's useful.
It's good.
So this steam turbine runs off something, and it powers the something alternator, which powers the excavator, right?
Yeah.
Is this
So
the
what's it powered by? Oil, coal, what?
Steam. So it's just natural. The water comes in is pumped by steam. I had to kickstart the whole thing with a generator, but once it's done, unlike the diesel generator, it
Yeah.
actually produces enough power to keep itself going and then also power the excavator.
Right. So what do you mean? What do you mean steam, though?
So steam, which is like when you heat up water, you know, boil a kettle.
So the solar tower makes steam. Like it
Solar
says
tower
there.
makes steam. Yeah.
And then it gets put into the steam turbine.
The steam turbine
The
turns
steam
into
turbine
kinetic
turns
energy.
the alternator, which makes electricity.
So it's solar powered, effect.
To the place that I belong, West Virginia.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
It's
so
a
yeah,
solar powered
all-
digging
all
machine.
from the sun.
Yeah, I mean, does it turn off at night?
I suppose it would.
Yeah. So the solar reflector reflects the sun into the solar tower.
Yeah.
Which is enough to boil water, apparently.
I mean, I'm impressed about this coal. This is fantastic.
It's good, isn't it?
What do you use this coal
We
ore
have got to
for?
somehow get it into coal rather than coal ore.
That's true. Well, we're gonna have
It
to
can be
bring
crushed in
down,
a crusher to make 3 coal.
and then probably pipe it into trains to get around transporting stuff.
I think we should make a railway in the town.
That'd be a good idea. Yeah. Because we would have got like a
We
railway
can turn
station.
all the roads into railways, because you can have either side of the white line. You can have an up line and a down line.
Yeah. Oh, and you could probably still run along them quite quick.
It can be pulverized into regular coal or tectonically initiated. Oh, that's an augmented pulverizer.
What happens if you put coal ore through a crusher? Does it turn to coal?
Yeah, I assume so.
Be
Or coal dust.
squeezed into
Good for
full
dust.
coal.
But then you smelt it, right?
Yeah.
Wait, can you smelt coal?
No.
Right, there's a way. Life will find a
When
way.
there's a will, there's a way.
So a mechanical squeezer from Integrated Dynamics will make 7 coal out of it.
Oh,
of the
okay.
coal ore, which is, I think, the highest I've found.
From one coal ore.
Yeah.
Is it hard to make though?
Sag mill with good grinding balls can actually get diamonds out of the coal.
Wow, but we also get diamonds out of that vein, so
It's true, we don't really need the diamonds, but we need to find a way to cool. I think the best way to do it is probably building
Oh.
a.
Wait, what?
I think it's just shoving it into.
When did I start?
Right?
I reckon, yeah, because that looks cool.
Oh.
And we can just
Oops. Sorry for the people that were just hanging around. Oh gosh. Oops. Okay. Been streaming for 7 minutes. Okay. Do. Copy. And There we go. Yay! Oh gosh. Sorry for the people that were just hanging out. Boop. There we go. So at least I know my audio is not messed up. Wish I could see who was watching. But, oh well. Okay. If you have any questions for me, just let me know in the chat. And let's see. Well, since we're started already, let's see what I can do. So, this is ah man, I had this whole planned out, and this just went completely downhill. Anyway, so welcome to the live stream. I am your host, Equinox3141, and tonight I'm going to be reading the chapter 3, Lying by Omission. This is the introduction of 3 new characters: What's the Matter, Zamar, and I believe, I can never remember his name. So I think it's just those 2. Yeah, I think Broadhoof, or can never remember the guard's name, is next time. So, without further ado, I guess we'll get on. With it, right? And so we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. Changeling of the Guard, written by vdrake77, narrated by Equinox3141. Chapter 3, Lying by Omission. Now, every so often I will stop and hear myself, so just wondering about that, that's why I do it. As well as it lets me control my pace, so I'm just not like trying to get through it all in one go, because that can be very annoying. I tried to do that for the first chapter, and it didn't work out at all. So, I awoke an indeterminate amount of time later in what I took to be a very bright, unpleasantly small and fragile cavern that I later learned is colloquially referred to as a tent covered in something wet and warm. Staring at the pointed ceiling of this very strange place did little to enlighten me, and would have extracted myself from this strange predicament had someone... I awoke an indeterminate amount of time later in what I took to be a very bright, unpleasantly small and fragile cavern that I later learned is colloquially referred to as a tent. So, you see where I messed up? So, you have to do it pretty much all from the top. Sometimes you can get away with reading a line at a time, but not always. So this is why it takes so long to record something, is because I just keep on messing up. And plus, V-Drake, you put in colloquially That took me like 5 minutes to learn how to pronounce that word. Could read it in my head just fine, but for whatever reason, it was like a mini tongue twister in the middle of recording for the first time. I recorded like this whole 2 paragraphs first, but my computer got corrupted and I lost the recording. So, yay, we're starting fresh. So, let's hope I can do a better Zamer this first time instead of the second time around instead of the first time, because people thought the story was a lot, let's say, raunchier, just because of how the first paragraph is worded, as well as my more breathy delivery of Zamer's lines with this completely fake accent. No offense to anyone that may identify with what that accent is, because I don't even know what I'm doing. I awoke an indeterminate amount of time later in what I took to be a very bright, unpleasantly small and fragile cavern. Yeah, that was a little rough right there. I awoke an indeterminate amount of time later in what I took to be a very bright, unpleasantly small and fragile cavern that I later learned is colloquially referred to as a tent, covered in something wet and warm. Staring at the pointed ceiling of this very strange place did little to enlighten me, and would have extracted myself from this strange predicament had a firm hoof not pressed against my chest and held me in place. I awoke an indeterminate amount of time later in what I took to be a very bright, unpleasantly small and fragile cavern that I later learned is colloquially referred to as a tent, covered in something wet and warm. Staring at the pointed ceiling of this very strange place did little to enlighten me, and would have extracted myself from this strange predicament had a firm hoof not pressed against my chest and held me in place. Would have extracted. Ooh, what? Where did that peak come from? Let's just get rid of that. And would have extracted myself from this strange predicament had a firm hoof not pressed against my chest and held me in place. So, I kind of have to do editing either on the go or a massive editing session. Now, for the last 2 chapters, the editing took me about 2 to 3 hours. And I was clearing up all the breathing, making sure every paragraph was spaced really good, as well as some other minor edits. But yeah, the longest part is first recording unless I can do a perfect run through the first time through, or just editing, where I just keep on flubbing my lines so much that I have to repeat a paragraph over and over and over again until I get it right, which happened in the first chapter, and I pretty much memorized that. So let's go on to paragraph 2, which I'm going to do a little ad-libbing for chapter 2, because trying to read that first line by Zamer is not, I don't want to say clunky, but at the same time it doesn't feel like natural. Like, it's fine when you read it, but when you go, lie still, shh, shh, it doesn't really, like, it kind of works out, but it doesn't sound as natural as lie still, or something like that. So I'm going to try and do a little bit of ad-libbing. Hopefully it doesn't go too off the rails. So here we go. Lie still, shh, shh. Now there, I didn't ad-lib at all, because I completely forgot to, even though I just talked about it. Again, any questions for me, just post it in chat. So, let's see. Lie still, shh, shh. See, I don't know what I sound like when I record this, so I always have to listen over my own audio recording. just in case, like previously, that peak in the thing or a stumble across my words that I didn't realize that I made. And that's fine for now. I might go back over and try and do that again. But here we go. A wet piece of fabric was removed from my head, and a blissfully cool one replaced it. I would have buzzed my appreciation. Again, my mouth does not read as fast as my brain. So, appreciation doesn't really help me out. So, and that just might be my perfectionist standards that I have for myself, but no one else, just for me. So, here we go. A wet piece of fabric was removed from my head and a blissfully cool one replaced it. I would have buzzed my appreciation, but something sweet. Whew. Man, it's almost like you purposefully put tongue twisters. Oh, it is going to be an interesting one. Like, especially in Zamer's voice, especially how you wrote these first few chapters, the first paragraphs of this chapter, make it almost like it makes it almost sound like the beginning of like a Klopfic. Like, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but when I played this audio for some of my other friends, they're like, "Oh gosh, what are you reading? 50 Shades of Grey?" Oh, I'm like, no, I swear, the story's good. The story's actually good. Oh, man. But, yeah, this is what all those, like, posts, like, a few weeks ago was, like, out of context snippets or whatever. Because, ooh, it was bad, especially this first part. A wet piece of fabric was removed from my head, and a blissfully cool one replaced it. I would have buzzed my appreciation, but something sweet and deliciously moist was pushed into my mouth, turning the buzz into a more curious hum. I chewed without thinking, each trickle of the juice a welcome sensation. I cut out my own audio. Let's see. Turning the buzz into a more curious hum. There we go. And I know I'm pausing after every sentence. That's just so I don't have to reread an entire paragraph before if I mess up, I don't want to restart. Because, that would just be really, that would take even longer to do, especially with a paragraph this long. I chewed without thinking, each trickle of the juice a welcome sensation. I chewed without thinking, each trickle of the juice a welcome sensation. I'm going to cut myself off again. Man, I have a happy trigger finger tonight. I chewed without thinking, each trickle of the juice a welcome sensation. Oh, man. Like, especially if they get into the later chapters, it's going to be definitely some clap. Oh yeah, restarting is definitely fun. And if I miss, like, your comments or anything, that's just because I don't have two screens. I'm hoping to eventually get two monitors set up, so I just have an 8-year-old tablet sitting off to the side with this super tiny screen for the live chat for me to read. So feel free to post any questions there in the chat. And we'll see how the rest of this goes. They especially lost it when they got to something sweet and deliciously moist was pushed into my mouth. Yeah, that especially sounded especially raunchy. I mean, they're also into anime, so that might explain some more other things as well. Oh no, don't, like, colloquially, that's a one-word tongue twister. Like, anyone who says it isn't, try to say it right now without trying to practice for a few minutes of saying colloquially. See, it literally took me almost 10 minutes to first look up how to pronounce colloquially, as well as getting my tongue to twist into the shape that will pronounce colloquially. And they also thought it was the beginning of Klopp as well, because how I voice Zamer, like, not whispering, but being quiet, because I just imagine her voice is a little bit lighter, and I need an accent because I have 13 other female characters to voice in this. So let's see how that works. Colloquially, the Jack Daniels is quoted as being a coke mule. I'll have to figure out where that reference is from. But anyone who misses the live stream right now, since this is on YouTube, it will automatically be put, as soon as this stream ends, it will be put in like an archive or something, so anyone can go and watch. And I might figure out to do like best of the live stream, but no promises. Like, I can barely get these chapters out once a month as is. We thought you dead, traveler. Generally, when you find a Pegasus buried in a dune with only a wing sticking out, it's more about arranging to contact his kin. This line from Zamer. The last bit, it's more about arranging to contact his kin. That held me up for about like a good 7 to 10 minutes, just rereading this thing over and over, because I don't know why, but I could not read it like that. We thought you dead, traveler. Generally, when you find a Pegasus buried in a dune with only a wing sticking out, it's more about arranging to contact his kin. We thought you dead, traveler. Generally, when you find a Pegasus buried in a dune with only a wing sticking out, it's more about arranging to contact his kin. The voice was lilting, forming a pleasant cadence with her words, but it made no sense. Pegasus? A dune? Why was I so tired? How had I gotten here? Sudden disgust struck me. Was I sick? The hive could not despair. The hive could not. Was I sick? The hive could not despair. Was I sick? The hive could not despair. It cannot despair. Technically, they're bug words and pony words at the same time. Pony words because he's a white Pegasus right now. Bug because Changeling. Yay. Here we go. The hive could not spare the resources for a damaged drone, and the contagion could only destroy it. Whoever had... There we go. Whoever had made such a foolish decision would face the Queen's own wrath. And then my isolation truly struck me. I had been severed from the hive, and already I was too sickly to Hold on. I can do this better. When I first read through this, I was able to pull off a very convincing despair. Let's see if I can do this again. Oh man, the pressure. Oh no, everyone's watching. Hello to the 4 people who are watching this stream. Yay. Let's see. Whoever had made such a foolish decision would be sheafing. I don't know why, but decision always trips me up. Okay, so whoever had made such... Nope. Can't stop. Can't stop during recording, I guess. You probably can put out a chapter a lot quicker than I can. Than it takes me to record these. Could write a whole chapter in the stance of this like whole live stream. Whoever had made such a foolish decision would face the Queen's own wrath. Whoever had made such a foolish decision would face the Queen's own wrath. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah. Let's see. Can I pull off despair? Can I pull off what I think that these lines? Can I pull off the emotion? I don't know. I think I might be a changeling because it's hard for me to pull this off right now. And then isolation truly struck me. I had been severed from the hive, and already I was too sickly to continue my journey. I was disgusting, pathetic to even think I would Nope. For days after, I was like, yeah, I can do this. And now, must be the stream. It must be the stream. It actually does say in the first chapter that he doesn't have as firm a control on his emotions as other changeling in the hive. He's more curious, and he actually loses emotional control at the boulder when he's trying to break down a boulder when he was first cast out. And here's his second break, as well as the not the hysteria, what is it called? The delirium, as last chapter of. It was brilliant. I was brilliant and thirsty. Very, very thirsty. I think I'll try and drink from that cloud again. And that's the last thing I heard. Last thing I remember before the sandstorm struck. Idle is just such a delightful character with his break from his monotonous tone. I'll love getting into the future chapters where he more either breaks his mold or just is unintentionally funny. Oh man, Idle being delirious was like one of the funnest parts of the chapter I read, because I always imagine Idle, even his thought process, to be monotone. That's why every chapter is monotone, because it's told from his perspective. So when I go into this voice, this is kind of how I think Idle's inner voice sounds like, and this is how he would tell his story. And then his emotions is when he breaks out of the habit. And then my isolation truly struck me. I had been severed from the hive, and already I was too sickly to continue my journey. I was disgusting. Pathetic. To even think I would earn my return was impossibly optimistic. Tears more viscous than that of most ponies began to roll down my white face. How was that? Man, oh my gosh, I finally figured out how I did that emotional break. Whew. Yeah, his sarcasm later chapters is legendary. And that's how he gets his legendary role. Woo, let's see if I can continue on this. Oh no, what did I do? Oh crap. Go back. Go there. Oh. Caliber. Fantastic thing to host all your fanfiction material. Unless you don't know how to use it properly. Fake crying is apparently something I'm really good at. I don't know if it will appear anywhere else in the story other than this, but I'll throw all my emotion into these few lines. Let's keep going. Now, no tears. You're safe now. Everything is going to be okay. The voice was wrong, of course, and I only felt worse. I shouldn't be here. I should have never failed my hive. I should have been a good, obedient drone. Instead, I was useless. With a start, I shoved this new I could have been a perfect transition, but no. I had to mess it up. Like always. Okay. The voice was think I need a voice crack there. The voice was wrong, of course, and I only felt worse. I shouldn't be here. I should have never filled my hive. I should have been a good, obedient drone. Instead, I was a useless. Did I cut myself off again? I was a useless. Yes, I cut my. No. No. Gotta stop pressing stop record. No tears now, crying child. Cease your weeping and enjoy this candy. The voice was wrong, of course, and I only felt worse. I shouldn't be here. I should have never filled my hive. I should have been a good, obedient drone. Instead, I was a useless. With a start, I shoved this new emotion away from myself. It had been insipid, a snake writhing around my thoughts, like nothing I'd ever felt before. Nailed it! Yeah! Now to try doing... Now, the real test. Doing idle when he's not full volume, when he's also sickly, without getting him confused with Zamer or other characters down the line. I'm diabetic. Then enjoy this candy and perish. I don't know. This is wonderful, man. I should do these readings more. You know, if I can manage to finish this chapter before the live stream ends, I will voice Idle versus the man-eating train. I know it's pinned in the Discord, and I will do it eventually. Why did you help me? I'm sick. Should not risk it. Why did you help me? I'm sick. Should not risk it. Sounds more like he's constipated, to be honest. Let's take it from the top. Yes, V Drake, you are eventually going to have a recording of. You're going to have an eventual recording of Idle versus the man-eating train. Because I read that and I'm like, this is beautiful. It needs to be voiced, just like your entire book. He's dehydrated. I just don't know how to do dehydration other than to not drink for an hour, but then we'd just be sitting here waiting for me to become dehydrated before we do this. Okay, now that I get the grudge moment, let's see if I can do this. Why did you help me? I'm sick. Should not risk it. Why did you help me? I'm sick. Should not risk it. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Oh man, the people that suffer for their arts, they deserve all the credit. Like the guy who made BioShock, he's the guy that actually did get sick from making BioShock. So all hail to that guy, because I have the poorest memory and I cannot remember what his name is. But there's actually a term, I think the Japanese coined a term that is someone who throws their mind, body, and soul into their art to the point where it's degrading to their own bodies. And those people that have that kind of passion, it's just fantastic. And if you hear random bangings, don't worry, that's me getting a drink of water and banging around on my desk. The Dread Train is in the story-related questions, I believe. I think it went down there. I think V Drake pinned it on that channel. Man, I've seen fan art for Idol all the time, but you never really see like Idol's first meeting with Zamer and Wasta, and Idol in his first Pegasus, in his first pony form as a white Pegasus. Yes, I am Idol. I random bangings all the time, both literally and figuratively. He will be known forever in the Royal Guard as the one who bangs. We never get like main color for him, so I'm just like imagining him like having a like either a white mane, like he's albino, or maybe he just doesn't even have a mane. A bald idol. He's just a bald idol when he's with this whole group. They just don't question it. The thing is, you don't want to compress your voice. You don't want to force anything because that will actually damage your voice box. So like, there's these little flaps that make your voice work, and they close. If they smash together too much or you overuse them, then they might get calloused, and that's when you start skipping notes. And they're called like nodes. They made fun of it in Pitch Perfect, but it's actually a real thing that some singers go through, or people that just talk a lot, don't rest their voice, or drink this delicious tea. That's some good tea. Hey Krim, how's it going? Glad to see you join the live stream. A turquoise mare with bands of cloth over her face and strange cloth pad on her back laughed at that, her voice growing richer in the emotional onslaught. That wording, cloth pad on her back. Is that a typo, or is that how it's meant to be? Or is it cloth pads? Yeah, Idol, man, the way Idol tries to blend in is kind of funny by trying not to blend in. But, Friedrich, like, I go through these chapters with a fine-tooth comb because I have to read every word. Is a strange cloth pad on her back, or strange cloth pads? Either way sounds awkward, but I'm just wondering, is this a typo? Oh, a carpet saddle. But how would he is he describing it? Is this the correct way to describe it? Is what I'm wondering, because strange cloth pad on her back. That's I know I say a lot of things are tongue twisters, but for whatever reason, I stumble over that the entire time, every single time. Okay, so you know, maybe ponies want to be noticed for like a defense mechanism. Like, think of it, they're all bright and pastel colored. In nature, that's a warning sign. It's like, warning, you will die if you try to attack this thing. Which, I mean, ponies are able to control the weather, the earth, and the arcane. So, yeah, it's their pastel colorations probably is a warning sign of don't mess with them or else you're going to get wrecked. Yeah, well, Idol kind of knows Pony enough that he's able to make some snarks in later chapters. Yeah, I try and stick close to the book as possible, except in the first uh, except in the first chapter where Chrysalis somehow has a train or a truck or something like that. Yeah, just in her throne room. So let's see, with the strange cloth pads. Like, it's not just cloth pads that's throwing me off. It's and strange, like maybe an A, like, and a strange cloth pad on her back. That just might fix my stumbling issue. Yay. See, there's another reason why you should watch these streams. You're just going to find all these little edits that you're like, oh, yeah, that should be changed. And that. I don't mean to be an editor, or just a thing that points out, hey, here's what I found. Here's my grammar report. Please fix. And I could actually fix this in my thing, because I'd have to edit it to make it look like this. And I think you guys might just be bored with that. So I'll just try and remember to insert it myself and not forget in the next 3 or 4 seconds before I read this again. A turquoise mare with bands of cloth over her face and a strange cloth pad on her back laughed at that. Her voice, growing richer in the emotional onslaught, receded, the new emotion being slowly replaced with warmth in the music. Sick, Colt? You are half starved and all dehydrated when our caravan saw your wings sticking out of the sand, like a very sorry signpost. It took the better part of 3 days before we were sure you were going to wake at all, but you've been making a fine recovery. Here she paused. Do we have a name, young stallion? I might have gone Irish there, and I know I stumbled over some words. So I might just go back over it again, because she's just fun to voice. She's just so much fun to voice, because this is actually my first character that I voiced that's not Chrysalis, which, if you want to know what I did with Chrysalis, this is how she sounded when I first recorded her. It sounded terrible, and I did the editing to make her sound good, purely to cover up how terrible I was at doing voices. Yeah, big Jamaican if you... Totally. It's... Oh, man. I really need to, just learn how to, voice act. I mean, an accent's an accent, am I right? We'll see how I do when I have to do Manhattan accents. Yeah, that's going to be a fun day. Dear Princess Celestia, today I saw these typos in your shipfic. Love, Twilight. Yeah, roughshot's probably going to be something like this, or maybe even, rougher. I think I might save this for the bigger dude down the way, or maybe just do a Big Mac with this voice, although I can't remember. Yes, he does talk in your fic, so somehow I'm going to do alterations on this, but that's later. That's later in the chapter. Forget about it. Yes, absolutely. I know Ruffer needs a deeper voice. I'm trying to go as deep as possible. But after a certain point, my voice just goes like this, and it doesn't sound good at all. Although, this might make a good, I don't know, someone sick? I don't know. But maybe this will be Sick Luna. This I'll totally make this like Sick Luna. Yep. Max sure does talk in this fic. Although it might just be more like sideways glance at Dash being ridiculous. Can't wait to hear the end of the Luna sick chapter. Can changelings get sick? Because that'd be interesting that Idol's the only one that doesn't get sick around Luna. Let's see. Can I do it? I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Idle Hooves. I bring justice from above. Oh yes, this is totally gonna be... What, are you gargling marbles or something? I can barely understand. If you can get that reference, 5 idle bucks to you. I'm going to make this Luna's voice when she's sick, just because I can't really use it for anything else. I mean, it's kind of, I think changelings can't really get sick. My headcanon, Vidric, can confirm or deny this. I'm okay with either. Is that changelings are semi-immortal, mainly because Idle doesn't even know his own age, and the dentist is like, some of these are baby teeth, and some of these belong to someone like a few decades older than you. Like, he throws that guy for a loop. So maybe changelings are just immortal, or even if they're not immortal, they live for a lot longer than ponies do. Because it doesn't seem like Idle really grows that much. So maybe like in a few more decades, the guard might be like, didn't that Idle like get in like 40 years ago or something? Why does it look like he's not aged a day since then? I mean, not immortal. They just live for like, I'd say like triple a pony's lifespan. Because it just kind of seems like where you alluded it to be, because they don't seem to die of like natural causes. They just mostly seem to die of workplace accidents, or just workplace accidents. That's pretty much it. Let's say a person that looks old besides those two. Well, Granny Smith is technically 300 years old by the canon, so maybe not many ponies live to 300. So we'll see how long changelings live for there. I've been trying to read the side stories, but I have no time. This is why it takes so long for me to put out a chapter, is that I work like 50-hour weeks. So I actually have a few free time. So I might be doing like 3 or 4 live streams this week. And that'll be awesome because I can't wait to do this. Yeah, workplace accidents, getting crushed with a boulder, getting mauled by an animal, getting emotionally eaten alive by the nymphs, being eaten. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean the nurse technically is old, but like I said, long life. So she's probably at the end of the changeling lifespan. So who knows? Maybe she's like over 1,000 years old or something. Who knows? You'll have to expand on that, maybe. More changeling lore. Yeah, I actually haven't watched that episode with Pear Butter and Bright Mac. It's, again, the time that I lack. So I actually haven't seen Season 7 and half of Season 8. As well as Shadow's Ponies Play. And that's as far as I am on the series right now. Yes, delve deeper into bug lore. We need more bug lore in our lives. Although I think people might be more interested in seeing that there's something about Mary. I don't know, something about Mary or bug lore? You decide. And by you, I mean everyone in chat. Okay, let's see if I can do after a few minutes of just messing around. Let's see if I can do a consistent accent. Sick cold. Oh, yeah, forgot to laugh because she's laughing. All these little things, and I've learned from reading everyone. If there's a slight echo, don't worry about it. My ceilings are just like ridiculously high for an apartment. I know Chrysalis is an aberration because maybe changelings live as long as they have emotional energy, and since she's the hive's queen, she has the most stored energy, therefore the longest life out of all of them. Headcanon accepted, not by anyone, just by me. If you want to have Mary more, you must rhyme to add the score. Yeah. Man, doing Zecora will be interesting. Doing a Mad Idol will be fun to do. Because I think that's like his third or fourth emotional break that he has. Sick got? No. Sick coat, you were half starved and all dehydrated when our caravan saw your wings sticking out of the sand like a very sorry signpost. It took the better part of 3 days before we were sure you were going to wake at all, but you've been making a fine recovery. Here, she paused. Do you have a name, young stallion? Yeah, I'm keeping that. That sounds fairly decent. Long live the queen, Faust save us all. Although, that brings the question, will he side with Chrysalis, or will he side with the ponies that he views as gods? Long live the queen, or don't stand against the goddess, including the goddess of his emotional energy, of his specific emotional energy. Classic the classic changelings are my favorite changelings. I'm not so much a fan of Space Bambi or the Love Bugs, because I just think the old design's a lot cooler. Yeah, I don't see idol siding with Chrysalis either, but who knows? There might be another like standing order that he. Well, there is a standing order that he won't go against the hive. So we'll see how he breaks free of his like mental conditioning brought on by Chrysalis, him and the rest of the exiles. Because he's inadvertently made like a kind of like a hive in Canterlot with all the exiles. So we'll see how that all goes together. He's going to ship Crusadents, and that solves all of his problems. Oh gosh. Oh man. I think at that point, Chrysalis would be able to take over the entire universe, with the Alicorn of Love being married to someone that draws power from love. Man, that sounds like an awesome side story. He's the king of the exiles, doesn't realize it, although he actually kind of alludes to in not this chapter but the next one, that he actually became the leader of the exile changelings, kind of the same way that Zamer became leader of this caravan in the first place. That he wasn't chosen, they just decided to follow him because it was a better way than doing things the old-fashioned way. Which I wonder when Idle's going to realize that, because that's going to be interesting plot point to be had. A name? I drew a blank. Of course, drones did not have names as such, because we referred to each other within the hive's mind, and generally without speech. Names are a terribly inefficient way of referencing the hive's mind. The hive's mind. That trips me up too. Every paragraph I'm going to say, this trips me up, this trips me up. Because it seriously happens once a paragraph. A name? I drew a blank. Of course, drones did not have names as such, because we referred to each other. Curse Idle and his proper archaic speech. It's so hard to read in this. Idle does have a weird way with words. Technically, it might border on abusive, but because it's just beating back this recording more and more, other than me just getting distracted by the chat. I drew a blank. Of course, drones did not have a name. There's that stumble. Stumbling over my own words. This is what happens. I just get into a rut where I just keep on stumbling over the things that I did not have a problem before. It doesn't mean I should stop. I just need to power through it. I drew I drew a blank. Of course, drones did not have names as such, because we referred to each other within the hive's mind, and generally without speech. Names are a terribly inefficient way of referring to someone when you can simply establish a direct link. Oh my gosh, this sentence is so long. It's so long. I don't blame you, V-Drake. I blame grammar, because that's what made this sentence long. Oh gosh. Pray thee, shall we fetch unto thee the tea? Thou art mocking us, Idle? Only with love, your highness. I know I forgot to say a name, because this is so hard to read and say accurately. Because when we're reading, we just read over the mistakes and we're like, just power on through because our brain just connects it. But our mouths can't do that, so we have to like not follow what our brain does. I drew a blank. Of course, drone did not have names as such, because we refer to each other within the hive's mind, and generally without speech. Names are a terribly inefficient way of referencing to someone. Like, if someone wants to make a blooper reel, I'm fine with that, because there's certainly a lot of them. There's certainly a lot of them, but that's your prerogative. I drew a blank. Of course. Why do I keep on cracking? My voice just wants to crack tonight. Crack like Idle's shell after he caught shining armor. I drew a blank. Of course, drones did not have names as such, because we referred to each other. This is where I got stuck on last time before I stopped recording. I know I could pause before names, but still. Butt Stallion. Yeah, Butt Stallion. I am Butt Stallion. You're Idle. No, someone called me Butt Stallion, so that is who I am. Oh, man. No worries. We'll get through this. We'll get through this eventually. I drew a blank. Of course, drones did not have names as such, because we refer to each other within the hive's mind, and generally without speech. Names are a terribly inefficient way of not referencing! No! Why do I think that he's a research paper or something? Without speech. Names are... Okay, at least I can break here. Idol's new name is now Butt Stallion. A name? Butt Stallion. Butt Stallion, my dear? Yes, Butt Stallion. Okay, then. Ironshot, I think we picked up a straggler who might be touched in the head. Luna has named me Butt Stallion because I am the butt of her humor. I am her butt servant now. Idol, both of you should never use that term ever again. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm getting more and more stuff to post to the Discord, am I right? Without speech. Without speech. There we go. Do. Thank goodness for this highlight feature. I would be lost. I would be lost always. Names are a terribly inefficient way of referring. Even when I have chance to prepare. Referring to someone. Referring. Is it just because referring just looks like it's not spelled right, even though it probably is? Names are a terribly inefficient way of referring to someone when you can simply establish a direct link between yourself or share that changeling's exact frequency. Of course, changelings out of gathering emotions... Of course, changelings out of gathering emotions... Of course, changelings out gathering emotions from the hives... From hives... That doesn't sound right. Am I right? That it doesn't sound right? Referring. Oh, man. If only I could roll my R's. That would just make it so much better. Give him just every chance he gets, he just rolls his R's for no reason, and no one ever questions it. Of course, changelings out gathering emotions from hives. Is it gathering emotions for hives? For the hives? Gathering emotions for the hives would have to have some sort of moniker. That sounds a lot better. I can't help finding typos. They just happen. I'm reading this, and I can't just skip over the typos. Maybe once I eventually catch up to the story, you'll just send it to me first. I'll read it, send it back to you, and say, here's the list of typos for you. And then you can just go fix them all. Of course, changelings out gathering emotions from... This might be a harder one to skip over than just adding A. Of course, changelings out gathering emotions for the hives would have to have some sort of moniker. More important for now, I had lost my chance of gathering More important for now, I had lost my chance of gathering this when Idol goes swimming. Some sort of moniker. But didn't you say that there's multiple hives and changelings? That Chrysalis visits from hive to hive? Like in the first chapter? Like, I might be remembering it wrong. It's been 3 months. But at the same time, I feel like I'm right. Multiple nests. Okay, multiple nests, one hive. should it be changelings out gathering emotions for the nests? Although that's just asking to be stumbled over a million times. Yes, I'll have to do that when he's. Although, is he checking? I decided to take a nap underneath at the far end of the pool. I was growing tired. Why was everyone shouting? It's going to be that fish dude from Chicken Little. Yeah, multiple nests, singular hive. I found like 3 typos in that one sentence. You're welcome. What can I say except you're welcome? Of course, changelings out gathering emotions for the hive would have to have some sort of moniker. Why is my voice cracking? No, don't crack like some prepubescent child. Should I use this voice for any character in the story? Maybe the guy working the counter of Donut Joe's. We'll have to have Idol visit Donut Joe's sometime in the future. May I take your order? You're making bubble noise and then screamed, "Dope fish lives!" Of course, changelings out gathering emotions for the hive would have to have some sort of moniker. More important for now, I had lost any chance of entering the society without suspicion, even though I had kept as even though I had kept as Pegasus ship. You do make this very productive. Absolutely. When did I start this? 2 hours ago. Oh gosh. I had no idea. I've been live streaming for 2 hours now. Oh man, this is great. Pegasus ship. It's all the like the same sounding words is why in the first chapter I said storm. For whatever reason I couldn't say storm. It just came out storm every time, and I could not change it. So I'm like, screw it. No one's going to know a storm. So he became a little, like, I'm going back to Wasta's accent. Yes, he became Russian. No, he's supposed to be Viking, saying storm. But I don't know how to do Viking accent. I don't even know if this is even Russian anymore. Let's keep going. Without suspicion. Even though I had kept a Pegasus shape the entire... the Pegasi shape. Even though I kept a Pegasi shape the entire time. Even though I kept a Pegasus shape... Started off a little high. Even though I had kept a Pegasus shape the entire time. Even though I had kept a Pegasus shape the entire time. When life's full of devastation, there's a simple explanation. You're a toy maker's creation, trapped inside a crystal ball. I must confess to you guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm living by the seat of my pants. What pants are you wearing? I don't know. What are pants? Something you'll learn later. There it is, the Irish. So, if I speak in Irish the entire time, will that give me the luck of the Irish? That is a question. I must confess that I don't. I must confess that I don't. I nearly gagged as the sensation rolled over me again. What horrid emotion was this? Yay! Another paragraph! Woo! Paragraph dance off. The luck of the Lyrish. I heard if you say her name 3 times in a bathroom mirror, she'll appear and drag you to Equestria. Ooh, we're about to get into voicing Wasta. Now that'll be interesting. Because I've been trying to practice occult, but it doesn't really sound all that well. It sounds kind of like a aged smoker. Rub my hands for luck. What are we doing? The thing from the Karate Kid? The good original instead of the remake? There we go. Let's do this thing. The mayor clucked her. Blah, blah, blah. No. The mayor clucked? I've never heard clucked. Is it supposed to be clicked? Did I find another typo? Is Vijay just cursing me for this entire time of just finding endless typos? Oh, Lyra would rub my hands. Sure. I need an adult. We are adults. Ah! The mayor clicked her tongue sadly, shaking her head. Thought as much. It happens sometimes. I'm not going to insert a clicked tongue because that will just peak the audio all over the place. No, it's not clucked. I've never heard a clucked tongue. I've always heard a click of the tongue. Like, where did you hear clucked tongue? Clucked her tongue. You've heard clucked tongue? A more muted sound than clicked. But I've heard people snapping their fingers referred to as click as well. Just a click. That's mostly come from Doctor Who. But clucked her tongue. Huh. I don't know. The author's choice, I guess. Although, it just, now that I'm reading it, I'm like, it doesn't sound right. Well, it's a lot more work when I'm getting distracted constantly. But yeah, audiobooks, there's a quote that Dusty Cat has on his Twitter, is that narration is more than reading. Because good narrators are able to bring their characters to life. Like E.B. Stevens for the Fablehaven series. Or the guy that reads the Harry Potter series. You can't actually imagine the characters being voiced by anyone else because they're so good at their jobs. You're like, yeah, that's totally how that guy sounds in this universe. Click or cluck? Maybe I should do a straw poll of this. Oh, so that's why no one got my everyone chat. You disabled it for me. Just looking at Discord right now. I really need more screen so I can get the chat for YouTube and the chat for Discord. Yeah, the chat. Man, this is going to be great. This is going to be so great. Yeah, I always try and stick to male voice actors, not because I like them better, but because it gives me more of a standing of how did he do this character? How did he voice that character? It gives me a lot more leeway on how to voice my own characters. Oh gosh. The definition of clucking. Oh gosh. I'm going to read that later because that looks interesting. Should we just turn the story related chat into the live stream chat for people who don't want to be on here on YouTube? Maybe. I don't know. Story related / live reading because that's just kind of what this turned into. The mare clucked. The mare clucked her tongue sadly. How do you cluck your tongue sadly? Because it's kind of a... Is that's more of like a disappointed. I know you say it's short. Oh, did Vidre get it wrong and click is the right word? I don't know. If anyone's bothered by me getting distracted, it's all Crimson Play's fault. It's all Crim's fault. Don't blame me, blame Crim. I don't care about cookies or anything. Although I love cookies, but not right now. Concern or disapproval. Express fussy concern about... I don't know. Tick, tock, click, cluck. It's going to be... Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Not that I'm disagreeing with you, even though I am. It's mostly because of everything that I've read and learned says that should be clicked instead of clucked. But it's your story, man. It's your story. Let's not waste any more time. Well, not waste. Let's not spend any more time doing things that we weren't supposed to be getting sidetracked. Yes, we're always getting sidetracked. Maybe now would be appropriate time for the train recording. The mare clicked her tongue sadly, shaking her head. Thought as much. It happens sometimes. It usually comes back in time, but you must not let yourself become overheated again until you're better. Do you have any idea where you live? An odd question. I do not. It was a simple truth. I had no idea where I would live, nor did I know precisely where I was in comparison to the hive. In comparison to the hive... I don't know, that just seems like an odd combination to me. Nor did I know precisely where I was in comparison to the hive. Is it just me, or is anyone else just like... I know the word is right, but every single piece of literature that I've read, and including my English classes, points my attention to that should be click. She clicked her tongue. The mare clicked her tongue sadly, shaking her head. No, we're past that. We're past that. I already recorded it. Let's go. I would live. Nor did I precisely... Nor did I know precisely where I was in comparison to the hive, which was significantly more... Nor did I know precisely where I was in comparison to the hive, which was significantly more embarrassing, even if I had been inclined to tell this pony where the hive was. Even if I had... That should be italics. Even if I had been inclined to tell this pony where the hive was. They are always disjointed. No, we're not changing it. The mare yodeled her tongue sadly. The mare yodeled her tongue sadly, shaking her head. Thought as much. Who said I read classic literature? Most of the books I read are from fiction. I have about 600 books in my fiction library that that I've read, are reading, or have read. Nor did I know precisely where I was in comparison to the hive, which was significantly more embarrassing. That's all, folks. Not yet, but maybe. Nor did I know precisely where I was in comparison to the hive, which was significantly more embarrassing, even if I had been inclined to tell this pony where the hive was. Nor did I know precisely where I was in comparison to the hive, which was significantly more embarrassing, even if I had been inclined to tell this pony where the hive was. This is kind of how the first chapter went, where I had to stop the recording every single sentence in order to get through it all. Even if I had been inclined to tell this pony where the hive was. Even if I had been inclined to tell this pony where the hive was. Yay, another paragraph! And another one's gone, another one's done, another one bites the dust. I'm sorry I make your grammar cry inside. But hey, maybe it's just the region I'm in. You know? The region? West US. Yay. But enough about me. More bug horse. Bug horse pretending to be horse talking to other horse. Is the mare... Okay, no, she's not zebra. When I first read this, I missed over the description of her being turquoise. So I just assumed everyone's from that she was a zebra. I don't know why, even though it says Saddle Arabia. Oh yeah, he did bite the dust. Yeah, there was no water in that cloud, although he was delirious. It was brilliant. I was brilliant. And thirsty. Very, very thirsty. Favorite line still of this entire thing, other than the beginnings of a klopvik at the beginning of this chapter. Oh, joy! Another pony. I get to voice Wasta now. Let's see how Wasta... Let's see how I will voice Wasta. Let's see how Wasta will turn out. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with dark brown... Another pony burst into the room. Boop. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with dark... Why do I want to keep on skipping that? I don't want to skip that. I don't have that many lines to read before I have to actually act. Delirious Idol is hilarious idle. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion. Gangly. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with a dark brown coat and a blazing red mane and a tuft of the same under his chin. He practically danced in place. That sounds... Man, that kind of sounds like he's disappointed he's like angry that Wasta's dancing. He practically danced in place. Do it from the top. We're doing it from the top. We're doing it live. Oh wait, we've been doing that for last few hours. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with dark... No! I'm not falling into this rabbit hole again. Yeah, I noticed that too. I just thought, hey, he's going to curse me to not keep on pointing out so many typos. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with a dark brown coat. A gangly stallion with a dark... No, I forgot the first part of the chapter. This is what takes so long. It's what takes so long. Another Nope. I mean, he's only judgmental about displays of emotion when it's another changeling, I think, because he doesn't mind anyone else expressing emotions because he just feeds off them, but although I think he does get irritated with Shining about showing like lust or no love when he's on duty instead of paying attention to guarding the goddesses or whatnot. Vox fic fix fic. Man, oh no, another tongue twister. Vox fic fic. Ew. Too much water there. Oh gosh. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with a dark cup. Why is it split up between two lines? Why can't I see between those two lines? Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with a dark brown coat, a blazing red mane, and a tuft of the same under his... I might just have to edit this one in order for me to be able to read it. Hold on. I'm going to edit this so I can actually read it. Look at all my fics that I have on my computer. Anyway, let's edit this book. Let's see, chapter 3. Ah, crap. I didn't fix this one up. Boop. Yep, gonna have to fix these 3 mistakes later. Hey, it's not sacrilege when you tell me that I need to... when you're like, fix my fic, please. Let's see, what were the changes that you wanted to do? A dark brown coat, blazing red mane, and a tuft of the same under his chin. Okay. Going into the code here. Oh gosh. Why is there so many mistakes here? Why is there so many things wrong with... Oh no. With a dark brown coat, a blazing red mane, and a tuft of fur and a tuft of the same under his chin. That sound better? Oh wait, that was supposed to be and. A blazing red mane and a tuft of the same. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with a dark brown coat, a blazing red mane, and a tuft of the with a dark brown coat, blazing red mane, and a tuft of the same. Yeah, no, get rid of that A right there. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with a dark brown coat, blazing red mane, and with a dark brown coat, blazing red mane, and a tuft of the same under his chin. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds great. Save that right there. But I'll need to just fix a few things before I'll be able to do stuff. Oh, it's links. Links are the problem. Okay. Get rid of this one. For whatever reason, when I download these chapters, it puts every link twice. And I have to do this every time I add in a new chapter. So don't worry about this. Just a little cleanup right now. We'll get back to the story very shortly. No. Oh, no. Oh, phew. Okay. worry about any of this. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Oh no. Where's this one? Okay, chapter 48? Oh gosh. More links. Oh no. Oh, okay. This is another simple fix. Sometimes I spend hours fixing these things. And then I have to fix them all over again when I download the new chapter. And it's not due to anything that you do. This is merely what the thing I use to get all these elements. Yay, it's fixed now. We can go back to reading. Okay, and Audacity. Pre-readers are great, aren't they? And here we go. Now that's fixed. Let's do this. Another drink of water. Let's go. Man, we got 7 people in here. Woo! Welcome to the chat. Another pony burst into the room, a gangly stallion with a dark brown coat, blazing red mane, and a tuft of the same under his chin. He practically danced in place. That almost doesn't seem like it should be another sentence. Same under his chin, practically dancing in place. I don't know. I'm not a writer. I try to be, but I can never put my thoughts on the page. And now a long character dialogue with someone I hadn't practiced on how I'm going to voice him. Any suggestions from the chat on how I should voice Wasta? I know they say Colt, but I have no idea how my Colt sounds. Does this sound like a Colt to you? If it does, let me know. Or should it just be really excited, almost like a Colt should be, with random breaks? Oh my gosh, it's going to be so awesome! Or should this be Rainbow Dash? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. I keep on saying that, but I know a little bit. Not enough to do this whole thing, but a little bit. Dark Hobbit. I have to just be straight with you. What? Should I just voice him like this? I don't know how this even sounds. Maybe I should turn on my thing and see how this sounds like to me. Maybe I should turn on my thing and see how this sounds like to me. I know you were doing Fozzie Bear, but I've only watched one Muppets movie, and that was Muppets in Space. I know you were doing Fozzie Bear. Let's see. I've only watched one Muppets movie. Let's see. I can't think when I'm hearing myself. Hold on. Hold on. Doot. Okay, so not childish. Well, maybe a little childish, but definitely. Ah, Auntie Zamer. Ah, Auntie Zamer. Is the new cult awake? Was he set upon by bandits? Is he a bandit? Are we going to place him back where we found him? And by we, I mean I, because I don't recall anyone else digging him out of the sand. And he's just... How many accents did he go through in that thing? Perfect. Oh, gosh. Trying to do an accent for a younger character without sounding like the other female character. Great. Let's see. And I kind of wish I set up my webcam for this, but I didn't know whether or not you guys would want it. But I was flailing my arms above my head the entire time I was voicing Wasta because he just sounds that excited. The starting accent was perfect. Oh, yeah, it's always just... Let's see if... I'll run it through a few more times before actually recording. Zanti Zanzimer, the new cult is awake. Or should be, Zanti Zanzibar, is the new cult awake? Was he set upon by bandits? Is he a bandit? Are we going to place him back where we found him? And by we, I mean I, as I don't recall anyone else digging him out of the sand. Hello guys, rest of the frog here. Don't even know if this sounds anywhere close to that. But let's see. We have a new channel in Discord? Woo! Is it just for my live streams and all the tomfoolery that just happens on these live streams? Yay, live stream related chat. Woo! Okay, sweet. Okay, let's go and see where this should I make that first Vidric, should I make that first anti-Zanzibar a new cult is wake? Should I make that a question? Because he just seems like he's bombarding them with questions, but without waiting for an answer. All the things are now things. All your ships are now canon. Ooh. Except yours. Yes, you. Perfect. Perfect. I might need to go grab new water in just a moment, which shouldn't be too long, like less than like 10 seconds at most. But let's see if I can do this one. Auntie Zamer, is the new cult awake? Was he set upon by bandits? Is he a bandit? Are we going to take him back where we found him? And by we, I mean I, as I don't recall anyone else digging him out of the sand. That doesn't sound that good. Oh, man. Why are you foaming at the mouth now? Like, why? Is it because of the incorrect grammar or me trying to and failing to do an accent? Because it could be both. I would be fine with it being both. Auntie Zamer. Auntie Zamer. This is how he sounds. Slightly Italian. No, don't die. That's one of the rules of my chat, is you're not allowed to die. We're all in this together. Auntie Zamer, is the new cult awake? Was he set upon by bandits? Is he a bandit? Are we going to take him back where we found him? And by we, I mean I, as I don't recall anyone else digging him out of the sand. How is that? I'll watch that later. Because I don't know where that will lead me. And I've already been just messing around so much with these live streams. But yay! Approval from the author. I don't recall anyone else digging him out of the sand. Out of the sand. Should it end like that? As I don't recall anyone else digging him out of the sand? As I don't recall anyone else digging him out of the sand. Oh, yeah. Can anyone actually do... Oh, man. No. Random throat sounds. Man, this is the kind of quality entertainment that can be found on these live streams. Auntie Zamer, is the new cult awake? Was he set upon by bandits? Is he a bandit? Are we going to take him back to where we found him? Wait. It sounds a little bit too much like Zamer. No. Auntie Zamer! Ah, Auntie Zamare. Auntie Zamare. There we go. Ah, Auntie Zamare. Is the new court awake? Was he set upon by bandits? Is he a bandit? Are we going to take him back to where we found him? And by we, I mean I, as I don't recall anyone else taking him out of the sand. How's that? How's that? Let me know. Let me know how that was. If I randomly go into accents, don't worry. It's normal. Oh, she's calling him Matter instead of Wasta? Wasta Matter. Yeah. But calling by... Wasta, I thought I told you to stay outside until I told you otherwise. And I'm not your aunt. I'm your tradesmaster. Now go back outside. Or, Matter, I thought I told you to... Yeah, that sounds... Either way sounds good. The accent would be similar. I know, but I didn't want them to sound the same. I wanted to actually have a deep voice compared to Auntie Zamare. Matter, I thought I told you to stay outside until I told you... Matter, I thought I told you to stay outside until I told you otherwise, she snapped, stern and annoyed. And I am not your aunt. I'm your tradesmaster. Now go back outside. Funny story behind these accents that I'm kind of making up. I kind of based them off of Zuri from Black Panther. That's what I was going for. And I guess they turned it to Jamaicans halfway through me recording the first time. What's the matter? What's the matter with you? Matter, I thought I told you to stay outside until I told you otherwise, she snapped, stern and annoyed. And I am not your aunt. I'm your tradesmaster. Now go back outside. But auntie, but auntie, what is that? What was that accent? Is he a bandit? But auntie, but auntie, but auntie. Oh my gosh! Ooh, that's loud. Why are they always loud? Sterned? Oh, I keep on saying sterned and annoyed. I'm your tradesmaster. Sterned and annoyed. Oh, I do. I totally do. Back from the top. We're going to do that whole thing again. Mata. Okay. But auntie. I am whatever this accent is. You decide in chat. Mata, I thought I told you to stay outside until I told you otherwise, she snapped, stern and annoyed. And I am not your aunt. I am your tradesmaster. Now go back outside. Perfect. I just say he has a longer life than that of Pony, so that way he doesn't actually physically age. But auntie... What do you think? The Libyans! Another quote for you guys to find where that comes from. But auntie. Sounds like I'm almost doing a beatbox. But auntie. But auntie. Now, do you pronounce it? Now, here's the real question. How does he pronounce it aunt or aunt? You're deciding now because I always say aunt, But I know other people say aunt. So, we'll leave that to your judgment. But auntie. Out with you! Out with you! Man, this character is getting better and better to voice. When the young stallion... Boop. When the young stallion darted off, her irritated... Nope. When the younger stallion darted off, her irritated glare quickly turned into an exasperated smile. You have to forgive him. This is his first trading voyage. If he were any more green, he'd sprout flowers. That doesn't even sound close to what I was doing. You have to forgive him. This is his first trading voyage. If he were... Good night, Dark Hobbit. We shall see you in the next stream, hopefully. And I'm okay with staying up this late with anyone else because I actually work graveyards, which is why you almost never see me on the chats. You'll have to forgive him. This is his first trading voyage, and if you're any more green, he'd sprout flowers. He'd sprout flowers. Yes, he would sprout flowers. You'll have to forgive him. This is his first trading voyage, and if you're any more green, he'd sprout why can't I pronounce that P? Why can I not pronounce that simple word with this accent? Doc Hobbit. You'll have to forgive him. This is his first trading voyage, and if he were any more green, he'd sprout flowers. I'm guessing he's getting a little less dehydrated because there's less ellipsis. So, I don't know. I don't know if you want him to be dehydrated for this entire thing. Yes, you are tongue-twisting me all over the place. Spoken like a true idol. My work is done here. Let's see. Let's see how far we are in the chapter. Oh. Yeah, we still have a long way to go. And this is how much we covered. We're about a third of the way through on this chapter. But he is not green. His... No. But he is not green. He is not green. But he's not... And you doing, like, precise word choices, like, interferes with my the lazy way I talk, because I want contractions everywhere. And it was so hard for me to say mountain instead of mountain, like I've done for my entire life. Hey, and maybe another live stream we can get V-Drake in as well. Let's see how well that goes down if he wants. But he's not green. His coloration is more like dirt and embers. I hit the desk. Why do I do this to myself? But he is not green. His coloration is more like dirt and embers. This just sounds like my normal speaking voice. I need to get into the voice of idol. Changeling. But he is not green. His coloration is more like dirt and embers. Perhaps this mare's vision was failing her. It sometimes occurs within the hives to the oldest changelings. the queen would sing those to sleep in a terribly beautiful voice, and then when the song went silent, so too did they. But no, piercing, but no, piercing, but no. Piercing violet eyes fell upon... No, he's not going into Wasta's accent. No, he's not going into these characters' accents. I'm going to stop that. Piercing violet... Piercing violet eyes fell upon me, and she laughed, clearly amused. Piercing violet eyes fell upon me, and she laughed, clearly amused. Yay! Well, of course... No. Of course he's not completely green. I've been taking him through the basics of being a good... talking. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been talking him through the basics of being a good trader. But he still has much to learn, like not getting every last bit of a poor fellow down on his luck. Does my mic still work? Oh no. Hello? Hello. Does my mic... Hello? Does my mic still work? Okay. Accidentally knocked out the cord for my mic. Okay, it's all fixed now. That's... Okay. Okay. Now that the panic's over, I can redo this. Yay, glad to hear. Oh man, I've never knocked out my mic cord before. This is a new experience for me. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been talking him through the basics of being a good trader. But he still has much to learn. Like not getting... Like not... Like can you... Like just can you not? Can you not... Get it, like... Get it... Like not get it... Like, can you not do this to me right now? Like, can you not? Well, of course he's... No, need more laughter in our lives. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been talking through the basics of being a good trader. A trader. If I could roll my tongues, this would sound so much better. Trader. Of course he's not completely green. I've been taking him through the basics... Talking. I hope I'm not annoying my neighbors with this. It can't not. What? It can't not. Where is that? Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been talking him through the basics of being a good trader, and this sounds stumbly like no other. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been taking him through... No! Curse my language. Why? Again, if anyone wants to make a blooper reel out of this, feel free, because this is going to continue on through the entire series. I cannot not, but I canoe. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been talking him through the basics of being a good trader. No. What? A good trader? Don't you know? Oh man, maybe after this paragraph it would be a good time to end the live stream, because we've been doing this for about 3 hours and every bit of this just gold, but I don't know if my brain can do much more. I cannot know, but I canoe. Great. Of course he's not complete. I hit the mic. Of course I hit the mic. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been talking him through the basics of being a good trader. Being a good trader. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been taking him through... No. 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 It doesn't matter about efficiency. But more live streams I do, the less people have to worry about, is the next chapter being put out? Hopefully. And hopefully I don't accidentally start the live stream 7 minutes before I'm ready to start talking with people. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been taking him through much of the basics of being a good creator. He's now a YouTuber. Welcome, Wasta Matters, to YouTube. Here's your diamond play button. Excuse that. Went down the wrong pipe. Okay. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been talking him through the basics of being a good trader, and he still has much to learn. Like not trying to get. I don't know, sounds like a good bass, like, I don't know, something beatbox, something music. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been taking him through the basics of being a good trader, and he still has much to learn to learn. Man, this is what I'm saying when your brain gets ahead of your mouth and your eyes. What is up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? I'm here to sell you this equestrian kinetic sand. It moves when you push it. Well, of course he's not completely green. I've been taking him through the basics of being a good trader, but he still has much to learn, like not trying to get every last bit of a poor fellow down on his luck. Yes! Finally! Like, not to try getting... I don't know, it seems like Zamir should be, like, less formal than Idle. Like, it should be, like, not trying to get every last bit out of a poor fellow down on his luck. I don't know. That just seems to flow with me. Like, not try to get every last bit of a poor fellow down on his luck. They went Irish. They always go Irish. Always goes Irish. Even though it went Irish, fine by me. If anyone's confused about shifting accents, well, they should join the live stream. See how crazy this stuff gets. Well, that seemed reasonable. I nodded my approval. Changeling of... Well, that seemed reasonable, and I nodded my approval. Amongst the hive, though drones were plentiful, they were not simply wasted. A lone hunter was often a dead one, but this trade and bit business made little sense to me, though I had gathered the first seemed to... Comma. There's supposed to be a comma there. Or somewhere. I don't know, but it just feels not right. Well, that seemed reasonable, and I nodded my approval. Well, that seemed reasonable. Well, that seemed reasonable. We're going to make idle work for the... Welcome to the Krusty Krab, home of Bug Burgers. Welcome to Bug Burgers, home of the Bug Burger. May I take your order? Is it actually made out of bug? No, it's made by bugs. Common misconception. Well, that seemed reasonable, and I nodded my approval. Amongst the hive, though drones were plentiful, they were not simply wasted. A lone hunter was often a dead one, but this trade and bit business made little sense to me, though I gathered the first seemed to represent some form of work. Clearly losing one's bits was cause for alarm. Did they feed upon the weakened? I considered how much physical mass I could lose to the jaws of a nestmate and remain functional. Little enough. Had that been the energetic pony's aim? To consume the fallen Pegasus he'd discovered? It very nearly made me shiver. Changeling should not be food. I know I messed up so many times in that one. Well, that seemed reasonable, and I nodded my approval. Amongst the hive, though drones were plentiful, they were not simply wasted. A lone hunter was often a dead one, but this trade and bit business made little sense to me, though I gathered the first seemed to represent some form of work. Clearly losing one's bits was cause for alarm. Did they feed upon the weakened? I considered how much physical mass I could lose to the jaws of a nestmate and remain functional. Little enough. Had that been the energetic pony's aim? To consume the fallen Pegasus he'd discovered? It very nearly made me shiver. Changeling should not be food. It verily nearly. Sir, you didn't order fries. I want my fries. You didn't get fries. Go away. It verily nearly. Verily I say unto you. It very nearly made me shiver. Did I say verily? It very nearly. No, I didn't. So I just stopped for no reason. Yay! It very nearly made me shiver. Changeling should not be food. It very nearly made me shiver. Changeling should not be food. Yay, another one down, another one down. Vidric, I got a question about this line. Oh, harmony preserve. I'm sorry, Kurt. I hadn't known how to do it. What? What? I need a soundboard of JonTron noises. The first is okay, but I hadn't known how to do it. What? How to do what? What didn't she know? Man, you're the most active one in the chat. Okay. I'll do this paragraph, and then I'll end the live stream because it will, by that point, reach the 3-hour mark, and that should be good enough. Oh, she didn't know how to breach the topic. Okay. How to do it. When I read that the first time, I'm like, sure. Yep. Accent, something, I don't know how to... Yeah, I know she thinks that Idol's cutie mark vanished, but just the... I hadn't known how to do it. Like, it almost seems like she's... Like, I don't know how to make your mark appear. I mean, it could have been traumatic for him if he wasn't Pony Drax. Am I right? Man. We should have we should have a literal of Drax versus Idol. Who would win? Decide now. Fight for your favorite fight for the characters who you think is the most literal. Now then, you don't know your name, you don't know where you live. I don't think it would be appropriate to leave you wandering the desert with a single saddlebag. I wish I knew what you had been thinking. I squirmed out of the bed, to her dismay, though the wet towels draped over me. Yep. Do 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 do. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 ba dun bum 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 bum. I don't know. Idle can create a spell that just blasts through one of the things just from being startled. So they might be evenly matched up, but a literal off. Who is the most literal out of them? Not Drax eating a changeling leg, but who is the most literal? Not the strongest, but the most literal out of the two characters. Now then, you don't know your name, you don't know where you live. I don't think it would be appropriate to leave you wandering the desert with a single saddlebag. I wish I knew what you had been thinking. I squirmed out of the bed, to her dismay, though the wet towels draped over me clung to my body. Even if you do seem to be much better than I thought. A towel fell off my back, plopping onto the dusty floor. Plopping on the dusty floor. Well, shouldn't it be plopping onto the dusty floor? Plopping onto the dusty floor. I don't know. Just, for me, it just seems better. What do you think? A towel fell off my back, plopping onto the dusty floor. Her vase tightened. I wish it would tell me who is in my chat right now. Ah. Yeah. No one wants a vase tightening. A towel fell off my back. No, they're not getting that accent. No, I refuse to give him that accent. Although, even though it's confirmed later that he actually does have an accent, I refuse to give him one because that just makes it easier on me. A towel fell off my back, plopping onto the dusty floor. Her face tightened in distress and perhaps revulsion? I looked back, confused, and realized my other mistake. While wandering, I had not think to give myself the traditional pony markings. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Made an adult pony stand out. Whew. You keep on throwing me these tongue twisters, man. While wandering, I had not thought to give myself the traditional... I'm creating more words for myself to stumble over. I should stop doing that. I looked back. Because for me, Idle just never seems to like using... I know he only picks up a trace of an accent, but still, I'm not giving him any accent because it would be so annoying to remember how to do that accent every time. A towel fell off my back, plopping onto the dusty floor. Her face tightened in distress and perhaps revulsion? I looked back, confused, and realized my other mistake. While wandering, I had not thought to give myself the traditional pony markings. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. I'm not even recording from the right position right now. Oh gosh. I can tell you how late it is because I'm not even following what I'm supposed to be doing with this. Okay. Positioning still right. Okay. Yeah, that's good. A towel fell off my back, plopping onto the dusty floor. Her face tightened in distress and perhaps revulsion? I looked back, confused, and realized my other mistake. While wondering, I had not thought to give myself the traditional pony markings. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Oh, man, you keep on throwing these tongue twisters at me, man. It's going to be so hard to read this. A towel fell off. A towel fell off my back, plopping onto the dusty floor. Her face tightened in distress and perhaps revulsion. I looked back, confused, and realized my other mistake. While wondering, I had not thought. While getting lost in space again. Idle in space! Changeling the guard 10. Idle in space. A towel fell off my back, plopping onto the dusty floor. Her face tightened in distress and perhaps revulsion? I looked back, confused, and realized my other mistake. While wandering, I had not thought to give myself the traditional pony markings. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. My gosh, this is so hard to read. Oh no, then he goes to space, gets blown the crap up for no reason, and then just regenerates as Mega Idol. Man, I need fan art. I need to draw Mega Idol now. That's so glorious. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult made an adult. But the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Mecha Idol versus Chrysalis. Yes. Usually the mark went unquestioned, but the lack of it made an adult pony stand out. Oh, Harmony Preserve, I'm sorry, Colt. I hadn't known how to do it. I froze, concerned that this was about to be a fight for my life. Too many things had come across wrong, as... This is why you highlight! Because without it, you lose your place far too often. I froze, concerned that this was about... Concerned. I froze, concerning that this was about... I froze, concerned that this was about to be a fight for my life. Too many things had come across wrong. I was going to say oblivious failure, which he is very oblivious. I was an oblivious failure as an infiltrator. I froze, concerned that this was about to be a fight for my... Fight. I froze, concerned that this was about to be a fight for my life. Too many things had come across wrong. I was an obvious failure as an infiltrator. I've never seen any pony lose their cutie mark. I froze, concerned that this was about to be a fight for my life. Too many things had come across wrong. I was an obvious failure as an infiltrator. I've never seen any pony lose their cutie mark. Woo! Another paragraph done! Okay, maybe one more. Lost? Lost? I muttered, confused by the implication. It was apparently precisely the right reaction. I love how Idle's... Like, if Idle was a Fallout character, his luck would probably be like an 8, at least, because he just lucks into doing precisely the right thing at the right moment. Or maybe Jinx would be better. Lost? I muttered, confused by the... What is that sound? Can you guys hear that sound that's outside? It sounds like someone's vacuuming. It's gone now. Lost? I muttered, confused by the implication. It was apparently precisely the right reaction. Lost? I muttered, confused by the implication. It was apparently precisely... Man, keep on putting in too many thes. Lost? I muttered, confused by the implication. It was apparently Lost? I muttered, confused by the implication. It was apparently precisely the right reaction. The older mare gave me a sad pat with a towel, drying me gently. Drying me gently. Yep. Another quote to add out of context. Lost? I muttered, confused by the implication. It was apparently precisely the right reaction. The older mare gave me a sad pat with a towel, drying me gently. Okay, now to save this. Oh, there's chapter 3. I thought I lost that. This is a lot better. Oh, come on. It won't let me overwrite this? Okay, hold on. Don't look. No one look. No, 03. 03. Now, it has to be in precisely this format. I don't know why, but it makes me feel better. So, I think I'm going to call that the end of the live stream tonight, since it is midnight right now. And, I don't know, some people might want to sleep eventually. I don't know. There is going to be another live stream later this week. I don't know when, but there will be. And if you want to message me, if you have any tips or just want to know how else I do all this crazy stuff that lets me do this stuff, let me know. We're actually about probably halfway through the chapter, so maybe next stream will be partly recording and then maybe get into a little bit of editing as well. And then we'll see how this whole crazy experiment goes on. Let me know if you guys want to do another live stream, if you want to give me tips what do you want the live stream to be? Just what we did now? Do you want to bring other people on, like V-Drake, if he wants to do it, if he or she wants to do it? So just let me know. If anyone's watching the stream later, yeah. Well, for now, I'll call that the end of it. And thanks everyone for watching.